The Memphis Grizzlies had to give up their winning streak after losing 115-109 to an undermanned Oklahoma City Thunder. Aside from the fact that this victory was a surprise for everyone, the game had a lot happening. The Grizzlies suffered from the loss of a team member and propelled Oklahoma City Thunder toward a victory. None of it made sense to anyone. So let's break it down and find out more about the ongoings of this game. First off, Morant evens out the playing field by being ejected. Playing the undermanned OKC should have been an easy win for the Grizzlies with the 7-game streak they've kept intact. But unfortunately, fate had something else in store for them. Morant was issued not 1 but 2 technical fouls, and just in time for him to be ejected from the game. The fans have been debating whether the fouls were even justified, but according to NBA official John Gable, they were. Morant managed just 6 points on 3 of 10 shooting. The All-Star guard committed a foul to stop the game and protest a no call on a drive to the basket with 54 seconds left in the half, earning him his first technical foul. This would have been all right if he hadn't gotten the second one that had him kicked out of the game entirely. According to him, he interacted with the fans and Gable issued him a second technical foul. Right before the first half was about to end, Morant was seen engaging with the fans courtside, apparently making remarks to them as they ridiculed the officiating. While he was protesting against the second technical foul, Gable defended his choice and explained that he didn't issue it for fan interaction. He questioned the integrity of the officials, and that's why he had to be given a foul and ejected from the game. But the fans still think that the NBA official wrongfully carried out the foul and had him kicked out of the game. Coming up, what actually happened between Morant and the fan? Lately, many players have had nasty courtside interactions with fans, like David Green's removal of a fan who'd said dangerous words to him. But this situation was quite the opposite. Lisa, the fan that Morant stopped to talk to, had actually been trying to boost his morale while the team's score was down by 20 points by saying, "Let's go." The player replied by saying he couldn't do much as the referees missed a call. Morant didn't blame his ejection on his fan though, and actually FaceTimed his father to talk to the fan and let her know that it wasn't her fault. She felt guilty for the way things had turned out and wanted to apologize for getting him ejected from the game, but Morant made it clear that it had nothing to do with her and everything to do with the referee. The referees have been pretty off this season, and they've refused to entertain any questions from the players as well. The entire situation had the Memphis fans fired up, and they took to social media to express their frustration with the referee's behavior in recent games.
And Morant's just been kicked out of the game. Ray Acosta, 2 technicals against Morant.
Grizzlies are all talking about that he was talking with a fan, and now a technical foul on Dylan Brooks. This is getting out of hand.
Now for how the fans reacted online. The news spread quickly, and so did the frustration. The fans quoted a tweet from Joe Masato that shared a picture of Lisa and what she'd said to Morant and went ham on the referee and his bad decision. They were unhappy about how the player had been treated, but also that the fan had to bear that when she'd come to support her favorite player. One user was clearly fed up with the way things have been going, as he said that the NBA referees toss around technicals like nothing. But another went as far as to say that the referee's decision was just the result of an ego trip because he couldn't handle being told that he wasn't doing a good job. While these fans were focusing on the ref and the bad decision he made, another one thought that Lisa deserved a refund given that she'd paid a good amount of money only to see Morant get ejected from the game when that's what she came for. One thing they all agreed on was the unfairness of this call. Nobody but the official could make sense of it. The situation was so absurd that the Grizzlies head coach, Taylor Jenkins, went off on the referees for giving a foul for a simple conversation between a player and a fan. Not to mention Morant's own reaction, which was probably the best out of them all. You might expect a player himself to lose it on the court once he's been treated to such an unfair foul. After all, everyone from the fans to the head coach let out their frustrations openly. Morant, on the other hand, had a minimal and funny response to the entire situation. That's cap. Literally, that's all he had to say. But he didn't just say it. He quote-tweeted a report of the foul and, like a true Gen Z, shared a reaction picture of a guy wearing a whole bunch of caps on top of each other. With just one picture, he ended the entire conversation and reminded his fans why he's their favorite player. But aside from this, all he had to say was in defense of the fans that come to watch him and support him as he plays. On his way out of the game, he gave thumbs up to his courtside fans, and later he extended more support to them. He was sympathetic to them, given that they come to watch the game and have to suffer from the referee's unfair decisions. He did strongly believe that the fouls weren't given based on anything he said to the referees directly. He'd gotten the first one for just expressing that he'd been hit in his face, and the other one was out of bounds considering he was just having a conversation with a fan. Still, he remained pretty cool-headed for someone who'd been treated unfairly in the middle of his game, and for that, we appreciate him. Moving on, Steven Adams didn't get a happy return to Oklahoma. The 29-year-old player got his start in 2013 when he was drafted by Thunder, and he continued to spend 7 seasons with the franchise. Now that he's with the Grizzlies, he was going against his OKC on his previous home court. Adams scored 9 points and made 7 rebounds and 2 assists during his 29 minutes on the court. But sadly, he couldn't keep his head up in front of his earlier team as his side went down and had a surprising defeat to a side that had lost their last 5 games. What's even worse is that they were undermanned and lacking their star players, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey. It wasn't all too bad though. At least Adams received a very warm welcome from the home fans, who even gave their former player a standing ovation when he left on a foul. Let's see how Thunder stormed all over Grizzlies' winning streak. The game began positively for OKC as Dort, the only regular starter in the lineup, got the Thunder going early with 10 points in the first 5 minutes, including 2 3-pointers. Jalen Williams added to this by hitting back-to-back baskets in the second quarter, giving them a lead by double digits, which later increased to 64-43 at halftime. They played with a collection of reserves, rookies, and two-way players, and still maintained a double-digit lead until the final 2 minutes. Memphis made a late run, closing to 5 in the final minute on Brooks' three-pointer. But the late run was too late, and OKC finished 19 of 45 from three-point range after shooting more than 50% for most of the game. Next up, Desmond Bane won't be returning till the start of January. The Grizzlies shooting guard suffered a toe injury during the November 11th win against Minnesota Timberwolves and had to be taken out. Back then, the statement issued had stated that he'd have to take around 2 to 3 weeks of break from playing, but recently, the team revealed that he's been progressing slowly in rehab, and full recovery will take a few more weeks. That also rests on him responding positively to a reloading protocol, and in case that doesn't happen, he'll probably need even more time off to heal his injury properly. He might be missing games, but it's much more important for him to come back in perfect health. Before getting injured, Bane had developed into a co-star alongside Morant in his 3rd season. He'd averaged a career high of 24.7 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 4.8 assists. Finally, are the Grizzlies one of the best teams in the NBA? While the players are talented and have a lot of character, some think it's a bit too bold to call the Memphis Grizzlies one of the best teams that we've got in the NBA currently. They don't really have any potential MVP frontrunners, and neither do they have one of the best players on their team. But still, their record is tied for the best with the New Orleans Pelicans. Their successes could be owed to the injuries that their opponents faced during the tournament. This argument seems invalid once you consider that they've had to play for the past month without their second-best scorer, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. has only played in half of their games this season. After 26 games, they undoubtedly do have the best record in the West, and are also in the top 10 for defensive and offensive. Not to mention, Morant has been giving a very promising performance, and although it's too early to say that he might be one of the top picks, he can get there in the future, seeing as he's been averaging 27.7 points per game. It won't be easy for them to stay on top of the West, but they definitely have the talent that they need to do so. The players are rising NBA stars that have a smart offense strategy that's balanced with a determined focus on the defensive end too. They've also got the advantage of youth on their side. This alone makes them a formidable opponent for any team that's on their schedule. And that's all for this video, guys. Do you think that Morant's ejection was unfair? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.